There comes a time in every soul's journey when it must stop pretending it is small, when the whisper within grows louder than the noise of the world outside, when the ache to remember who you really are becomes unbearable, and you surrender not to the chaos but to the infinite silence beneath it all. You are not here by accident, and you are not merely flesh and bone stumbling through time. You are not the labels you've worn, the stories you've carried, or the scars you've mistaken for identity. You are not your pain. You are not your past. You are not even your name. You are the universe, cloaked in form. You are stardust, animated by awareness. You are the timeless essence of life itself, playing the temporary game of limitation so that one day this day you would remember. You are not born to chase meaning. You are meaning. You are not made to search for truth. You are truth, waiting patiently behind every breath, behind every moment of stillness that dares to reach beyond thought. The cosmos did not create you as an outsider. It pulsed itself into the fabric of your being, breathed its intelligence into your heart and whispered, go, be, expand, remember. Live as if you are the universe expressing itself, because you are. You are not separate from the stars that shine, the rivers that flow, or the winds that whisper through the trees. The same intelligence that spins the galaxies, spins the thoughts in your mind, the rhythm in your heartbeat, the longing in your soul. You are not merely part of the whole, you are the whole, expressing itself as a part. But we forget. We get so caught up in the illusion of form that we lose the formlessness that birthed us. We fall into roles and routines attached to possessions and positions, chasing illusions of control in a world built on impermanence. And we call this living. We call this safety. But the soul doesn't want safety. The soul wants truth. The soul wants freedom. The soul wants to fly. And the only thing keeping you grounded is the belief that you are separate. Separate from source. Separate from life. Separate from others. But separation is the original illusion. It is the veil cast by the ego, the shadow of fear projected onto the eternal light of being. The ego says, I am this body, this name, this history. The soul whispers, I am everything and I am no thing. The ego fears change. The soul is change. The ego clings. The soul releases. To live as a universe expressing itself is to let go of the illusion that you are a fragment. It is to walk not in pride but in presence, not in domination but in divine surrender. It is to see yourself not as the wave trying to prove its worth in the ocean, but as the ocean rising momentarily in wave form, powerful, unique, and deeply connected to the whole. You are not meant to live in fear of your own greatness. You are not meant to shrink your light to make others comfortable. You are not meant to hide your truth beneath layers of apology. You are meant to radiate, to expand, to burn away everything that is false, so only what is real remains love. Pure, infinite, unconditional love, the language of the universe, the fabric of your being, the pulse behind every heartbeat and every act of true courage. When you choose to live as if you are the universe expressing itself, you stop needing validation. You no longer wait for permission. You stop asking if you're worthy. You know not in your mind but in your soul that you are already whole, already enough, already divine. And in this knowing, you begin to walk differently. You walk with reverence for all things, for the stranger beside you, the flower beneath you, the silence within you. You speak not to be heard, but to be true. You give not to be praised, but because giving is what love does. You forgive not to condone, but to unshackle your soul from the prison of resentment. Because the universe doesn't hold grudges. It expands, it flows, it learns, it transforms, and so must you. The deeper truth is this: you are not becoming, you are unbecoming. Unbecoming everything that is not you, every belief that says you're limited, every fear that says you're powerless, every memory that tells you you're broken. You are not broken. You are birthing. And what is being born is the real you. Not the version of you the world taught you to be, but the you that existed before the world told you who you were. The you that remembers it came here with a purpose, with a vibration, with a sacred frequency to express, not to impress, but to express. Not to perform, but to be. You are here to shine your light, not because the world needs more brightness, but because that's what light does, it shines. You are not here to struggle your way to enlightenment. You are here to remember that you already are. Enlightenment is not some destination at the end of effort. It is the stillness underneath every moment. The presence behind the thoughts. the awareness witnessing your life from within your own eyes. And the more you remember this, the more your life becomes a sacred unfolding, not a chaotic chase. You stop trying to control everything and instead become attuned to the flow. You stop forcing and you start aligning. You stop resisting the moment and you start dancing with it. Because the universe is not in a hurry. It grows trees slowly. It carves mountains patiently. It spins galaxies in quiet wonder. And it births you not to rush, but to remember. To remember that you are not a mistake, that your timing is not late, that your path is not broken, that your being is not flawed. You are not the trauma you endured, but the strength that survived. You are not the doubts that whisper, but the presence that hears them. You are not the wounds that ache, but the spirit that witnesses even pain with compassion. You are not here to live half alive. You are not here to dim your fire, to blend in with a world afraid of its own light. You are here to awaken fully, courageously, continuously. Live as if you are the universe expressing itself because you are. And when you truly accept this, you stop trying to get life right and you start being life right now, in this moment, with all its beauty, all its imperfection, all its mystery. You begin to see the divine in the mundane. You feel the sacred in the simple. You realize the ordinary is extraordinary when you are present with it, because presence is power. And when you are fully present, you are fully divine. Let go now of everything that keeps you pretending you are small. Let go of every thought that says you must earn your worth. Let go of the masks, the roles, the shame, the old stories. They were only costumes the soul wore while learning how to remember. Now the soul is ready to be naked, honest, whole. Live not as a seeker of light, but as the light. Live not as a being on a path to source, but as source walking the path. Live not as a mind trying to figure it all out, but as a heart surrendered to what already island. Because you don't need to become worthy of love. You are love. You don't need to strive for connection. You are connection. You don't need to search for purpose. You are purpose, pulsing through a form, waiting to be expressed. Live as if you are the universe expressing itself, because the universe never hides, never shrinks, never apologizes for existing. Neither should you. There is a quiet revolution that begins the moment you stop asking the world for direction and start listening to the wisdom rising from within you. It does not announce itself with trumpets. It doesn't shout for attention. It arrives like dawn, soft, golden, and undeniable. A slow illumination that touches every corner of who you are and reminds you you were never lost, only distracted by what is not you. The universe does not need your striving. It calls for your surrender. Not the surrender of weakness, but the surrender of resistance, the soft and sacred art of becoming open again, open to love, open to presence, open to the boundless intelligence that courses through every cell of your being. The stars do not strive to shine. The rivers do not push to flow. They are what they are, and so must you be. To live as if you are the universe expressing itself is to trust the unfolding even when you don't understand it, especially then. It's easy to have faith when the sun is shining, but real alignment is forged in the quiet valleys when the night is long and your path is lit only by the gentle glow of trust. In those moments, you are invited to remember, you are not here to control the current, but to learn how to float. The deeper you sink into this trust, the more you realize that everything you once feared was never a threat, only a teacher. Every closed door was a redirection. Every heartbreak was a softening. Every ending was the breath before a new beginning. Life is not punishing you, it's polishing you, shaping you into someone who can remember their true name, not the one the world gave you, but the one etched in your soul before time began. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be whole. And wholeness doesn't mean the absence of shadow. It means loving the light and the shadow as equal parts of the same sacred dance. The moon is no less divine for showing only part of herself, and neither are you. You don't need to be everything for everyone. You only need to be fully yourself, fully alive, fully real. And what is more real than love? Not the kind sold in stories or bargained in relationships, but the kind that's simply island, the love that remains when there is nothing left to prove, the love that sees without judgment, the love that exists not as an emotion, but as the original frequency of all creation, That is the essence of who you are. Not love is something you give or receive, but love is what you are before any transaction begins. When you realize this, forgiveness becomes not a task, but a return. You stop carrying the weight of what was done to you, and instead remember that nothing done to the body can ever touch the truth of the soul. The soul remains intact, untouched, eternal. It watches your suffering with the eyes of compassion, not pity. It knows your wounds are not your end, they are your doorway. To live as the universe expressing itself is to walk through those doorways without fear. To walk into your pain, your shame, your doubt, and greet them like old friends who came bearing hidden light. You will not dissolve by feeling deeply. You will not be destroyed by your vulnerability. In truth, that is where your strength lives. Not in the armor, but in the open heart. Not in the clenched fist, but in the surrendered hand. You are not the one falling apart. You are the one being rearranged, reshaped into the clearest version of yourself. Life is not trying to break you. It's trying to break through you, through your patterns, through your walls, through your need to always understand. Some things must be felt to be known, and some truths can only be accessed through the silence beyond the mind. So be still, not just in your body, but in your being. Let go of the mental commentary. Release the inner critic. Step away from the performance. Stop dancing to the music of a world that forgot how to listen. Be still, and in that stillness you will hear it. The voice that doesn't speak in words, the presence that has never left. The breath that reminds you, you are here, and here is enough. Enoughness is not something to be earned. It is the ground of your existence. It is the truth underneath all lies. It is the melody behind every sacred act. You are not here to earn your place. You are the place, the space where Source comes alive in form. And the moment you stop trying to become something, you become everything. You don't need more. You need less noise, less pretending, less running from your own soul. Because your soul is not something distant. It's not hiding in some far-off mountaintop or mystic realm. It's right here breathing with you, dreaming through you, waiting for you to recognize that the treasure you seek is the awareness that is already looking. There are no accidents in a conscious universe. There are only invitations, and everything is one. The bird that sings outside your window, the tears that fall unannounced, the stranger who smiles when you need it most. These are all reminders that you are not alone, and you have never been. To live as the universe expressing itself is to see the sacred in everything, not just the extraordinary, but the mundane. To walk into your life not as a burden, but as a blessing. To rise in the morning not with obligation, but with awe. To touch the day as if it were holy because it island. This breath is holy. This moment is holy. You are holy. And holiness is not reserved for the perfect. It belongs to the present. It belongs to those who dare to see with the eyes of the soul. Not for what something appears to be, but for what it truly is. Divine. And so are you. There is a profound stillness that lives beneath all movement, a silence not born of the absence of sound, but of the presence of something far more eternal. It is the same silence that held the stars before they formed, the same silence that holds you now. In this space, nothing is missing, nothing is broken, all is already whole, including you. You see, life does not ask you to become more. It invites you to see more clearly. The journey is not toward distance, but depth. Not towards something beyond you, but into the heart of what has always been within you. That quiet presence, that unnameable awareness behind the eyes it has never left. It has simply been waiting for your recognition, and recognition is not effort, it is willingness. The willingness to be open, to be undefended, to be present with what is, even when the mind insists it should be different. The wisdom of the universe is not loud, it arrives in the spaces between thoughts, in the surrender beneath certainty, in the breath you stop to feel without rushing. You're not here to conquer the world, you are here to remember that the world flows through you, that your life is not a separate stream, but a current in the river of creation. The more you soften into that current, the more you discover that the power you've been seeking was never outside of you, it was the very aliveness within your awareness. There is no reward waiting at the end of becoming someone else. The only reward is in reclaiming the simplicity of who you are when you stop trying to be anything. Your presence is not a tool, it is a temple. Your life is not a performance, it is a sacred unfolding. When you honor that, even the ordinary becomes divine. And the divine doesn't need to be explained, it needs to be lived. It needs to be felt in the fingertips as you touch a moment with reverence, heard in the pauses between words, seen in the reflection of your own eyes when you stop running from your depth. There is no awakening without intimacy with yourself, with the now, with the unseen intelligence moving through every breath. That intimacy begins not by figuring everything out, but by giving up the idea that you must. It begins when you trade the pursuit of meaning for the experience of presence. You are not a puzzle to be solved. You are a mystery to be lived. And living from that mystery means letting go of the constant commentary, the evaluations, the conditions, the comparisons. It means stepping back from the mind's endless questions and sinking into the answer that has no words, the answer that is your being. And from this beingness, love flows. Not the transactional love the world often imitates, but the unconditional current that needs no reason, no outcome, no reciprocation. It simply moves through you, from you, as you. Like light from the sun, it does not discriminate, it radiates. When you live as if you are the universe expressing itself, you realize that your very existence is an offering. You don't need to strive to be a contribution. You already are one. Your presence, aligned with truth, becomes a force of peace, an agent of healing, a beacon without effort. And this peace, this deep anchored peace, is not passive. It is not an escape from life, but a return to it. It is the courage to meet each moment unguarded. It is the clarity to see without distortion. It is the power to act without ego, to move without attachment, to give without fear. You become not someone who needs to be seen, but one who sees. Not someone who needs to be loved, but one who is love. And from that space, every interaction becomes sacred, every choice becomes intentional, and every breath becomes a miracle. So breathe now, not as the person you've been conditioned to be, but as the presence you've always been. Let the illusion of separation fall away like old skin. Let the need to be understood dissolve into the peace of understanding yourself. You are not here to chase the light. You are here to remember that you are the light. And the world does not need more shadows disguised as strength. It needs you open, grounded, awakened, a living expression of the infinite, unafraid to shine without shame, unafraid to feel without filters, unafraid to be fully, vulnerably, powerfully you. Then let us go further deeper into that sacred territory within, where no name exists, yet all truth resides, where there are no mirrors, yet everything is reflected, where you do not seek to define yourself, but to dissolve into what has always been. Living as the universe expressing itself is not a philosophy. It is not an ideal. It is a return to your natural rhythm, your original essence, your unedited truth. And in that return, you begin to notice something subtle and transformative. Nothing in nature rushes, yet all is accomplished. The flower does not bloom by force. The stars do not burn by strategy. They become what they are by being what they are fully. This is your invitation to stop managing your life like a project and begin tending to it like a garden, to move from controlling to allowing, from doubting to listening, from proving to simply expressing. And that expression, that unfiltered movement of your inner being, is your sacred contribution to the whole. You are not here to imitate the patterns of others. You are here to be a unique unfolding of the cosmic pattern itself. The deeper you honor that uniqueness, the more peace you will know, not the fleeting peace of escape, but the enduring peace of alignment. Alignment with what is real, what is eternal, what has no beginning and no end, the soul. And the soul does not measure, it witnesses. It does not compare, it communes. It does not strive to be something better because it already knows that it is divine. When you embody this, you begin to walk differently, not with arrogance, but with quiet authority. Not with ego, but with reverence. You no longer enter rooms wondering if you belong. You realize that your presence itself sanctifies the space, not because you are more, but because you are fully here. And being here, truly here, is the miracle. Not in some imagined future where your healing is complete, your dreams are fulfilled, and your identity perfected, but here, where the breath meets the body, where the silence cradles your awareness, where nothing needs to change for you to feel the vastness of your being. You begin to see life not as a series of events to endure, but as a conversation with the infinite. Every setback becomes a redirection. Every wound becomes a doorway. Every moment becomes a message. And you, dear soul, become the interpreter, not through logic, but through presence. In that presence, the mind becomes quiet, not suppressed, but soothed. Not silenced by force, but by awe. The kind of awe that arises when you finally realize the same source that crafted galaxies lives within your chest, beating your heart, guiding your path, whispering always, you are already home. So why do we wait to live? Why do we postpone joy, withhold love, deny our radiance as if tomorrow is more sacred than today? There is no tomorrow more real than this moment. And this moment, touched by your awareness, becomes eternity. Live from that place. Speak from that place. Love from that place. Not cautiously but abundantly, not conditionally but openly. Let your life become a prayer without words, a dance without choreography, a light without effort. You were not born to be understood by all, you were born to be true to yourself. And truth is not what you declare, it's what you embody. So if your soul feels weary from pretending, from performing, from perfecting, lay it down. Rest in what is true. You don't have to carry the story any longer. The story that says you're not there yet. The story that says you must do more to be more. The story that keeps you running in circles around a center that has always been still. Stop spinning. Sit inside that stillness. Feel its depth. Listen to its knowing, and then live from there. Move from there. Create from there. Forgive from there. That is the real you. And the world needs that you, not the edited version, not the censored version, not the exhausted version trying to earn a right to exist. Just the you who is already whole, already enough, already divine. And now, as the soul settles deeper into this unfolding, you may feel it, that quiet remembrance stirring like a wind through the leaves of your awareness. Not a conclusion, but a returning, a homecoming, not to a place, but to a state of being. A state that has always been patiently waiting beneath the noise, beneath the striving, beneath the layers of becoming. You are not what the world has told you. You are what the universe has whispered. Not a separate self navigating a cold cosmos, but the cosmos itself awakening to its own presence through you. The infinite wearing a human face. The eternal learning how to feel. And each step you take in truth, each breath you take in presence, each moment you meet with love, these are not small acts. These are revolutions. The real transformation is not dramatic. It is sacredly subtle. It happens when you choose presence over performance, when you stop reaching outward and begin listening inward, when you realize that the very longing that aches in your heart is the echo of the universe calling you back to what you've always been, whole, worthy, free. This is not about escaping the world. This is about seeing the world differently through the eyes of the soul, through the lens of unity, through the deep knowing that nothing is outside of the sacred, not the struggle, not the uncertainty, not even the ache, because all of it is part of the unfolding. All of it is part of the song. And your life, yes, your life is one verse of that cosmic song. Unique, necessary, irreplaceable. Not better or worse than any other, but distinct in its vibration, its color, its offering. And when you stop trying to be someone else's verse and start singing your own, the whole song becomes richer. The whole becomes complete. So live as if you are the universe expressing itself, not tomorrow, not when things are easier, not once you've figured it all out, but now, in this breath, in this body, in this exact moment. Let your feet touch the earth with reverence. Let your voice rise with authenticity. Let your silence speak with power. Let your presence be your offering. You do not need more time to become who you are. You only need less resistance to being who you already are. You do not need to ascend, you need to remember. You do not need to transcend life, you need to inhabit it fully, deeply, divinely. So let the old self fall away, like autumn leaves making space for spring. Let the doubts dissolve into the certainty of your being. Let the past become a bridge, not a burden. Let the future rest in trust, and let this moment, this one, be enough. Not because it is perfect, but because you are present. And in your presence, the universe meets itself. In your awareness, God knows its own name. In your willingness to be here, just as you are, life finds its sanctuary. So walk on, beloved soul, not in search, but in celebration. Not in fear, but in remembrance. Not in striving, but in shining. Because you are not the light seeking the source. You are the source, revealing the light. Live this truth, and let that be your legacy. Let that be your liberation. Let that be you. There is a quiet power that exists within each of USA Power that, when embraced, transforms the very fabric of our lives. It is a power that speaks not through force,
but through a subtle yet unwavering clarity. It is the power of setting boundaries, of establishing in our own hearts and in the world around us the sacred space that preserves our peace, our joy, and our truth. Many of us walk through life with a deep sense of disconnection from this power, believing that to love others, we must give endlessly, to surrender ourselves entirely. We have been taught to ignore our own needs, to sacrifice our well-being for the sake of others, and to be endlessly accommodating, even when it costs us our sense of self. But this, my dear friends, is not the path of self-love. This is the path of depletion, of losing touch with the essence of who we are, and of abandoning the very heart of our truth. True love, real love, begins with the deep respect and honor we show to ourselves. And one of the most sacred ways to honor yourself is by establishing boundaries that reflect your worth. Boundaries are not walls to keep others away. They are bridges that connect you to your own heart and soul. They are the language of self-respect, spoken not in words, but in actions, in the choices you make, in the way you move through the world with a quiet confidence that says, I am worthy of peace. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of my own presence. Boundaries are not limitations, nor are they restrictive. On the contrary, they are liberating. They are the invisible lines that allow your soul to expand into its true potential without fear of being overwhelmed, exploited, or diminished. They are the spaces where you find yourself again, where you remember who you truly are without the noise of the world drowning out your inner voice. Imagine for a moment a garden. This garden is your life, your spirit, your essence. It is lush and vibrant, filled with the flowers of your dreams, the fruits of your efforts, and the beauty of your soul. Now imagine that the garden has no fence, no boundary to protect it. It is vulnerable to the elements, to the animals that wander through, to the weeds that seek to overtake it. Without a fence, this garden is open to anything and everything, both the nourishing and the destructive. But when you place a boundary around that gardena gate, a fence, a wall of love and respect, you are not shutting out the world. You are simply ensuring that only that which nourishes you can enter. You are making space for your soul to grow, free from the encroachments of negativity, fear, and unhealthy influences. Your garden becomes a sanctuary, a place of peace, a place where you can breathe, bloom, and become all that you are meant to be. This is what boundaries do for your life. They create the space for you to exist fully in your truth, without compromise, without apology. Boundaries are the essence of your self-respect. They are the sacred lines that tell the world, this is who I am, and I will no longer accept anything less than my highest good. But to set boundaries, we must first understand something profound about ourselves. We are not here to please everyone. We are not here to be liked by everyone. We are not here to carry the burdens of others at the expense of our own peace. This is not selfishness. This is self-respect. And when we learn to honor ourselves in this way, we begin to realize that we are not only honoring ourselves, but we are also teaching others how to treat us. The most loving thing you can do for yourself is to honor your own needs. If you constantly give without receiving, if you allow others to overstep your boundaries, you are sending a message to the universe that you are not worthy of being treated with the same care and respect you so freely offer to others. You are teaching the world that it is okay to take from you without offering anything in return. And this, my friends, is a disservice to your soul. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They are about taking control of your own life. They are not about telling others what they can or cannot do, but rather about expressing your needs and making sure that you are not compromising your own well-being for the sake of others. Boundaries are a declaration of self-worth, a deep acknowledgement that you deserve to be treated with dignity, with respect, and with love. And yet, despite the power and importance of boundaries, many of us resist setting them. We fear the discomfort that may arise when we say no to someone or when we stand up for ourselves in the face of opposition. We fear rejection, judgment, and conflict. We believe that setting boundaries will make us seem rude, selfish, or unkind. But in truth, it is the opposite that is true. When we fail to set boundaries, we are being disrespectful to ourselves. We are dishonoring the divine spark within us. And we are allowing our energy, our time, and our love to be squandered by those who do not value us. The fear of setting boundaries often comes from a deep-seated belief that we are not enough, that we must constantly give in order to be worthy of love or acceptance. But this is a lie. You are already enough. You are already whole. You do not need to prove your worth to anyone by overextending yourself, by exhausting your energy, or by compromising your truth. You are deserving of respect, of space, and of peace simply because you exist. When you begin to set boundaries, you will notice a shift in your life. You will begin to feel more at ease with yourself, more grounded in your own sense of purpose and direction. You will begin to attract people who respect you, who honor your needs, and who value your presence. You will find yourself in relationships that are mutually nourishing, where giving and receiving flow in balance. You will no longer feel drained, depleted, or overwhelmed, for you will have created the sacred space to nurture your own soul. Boundaries, my dear friends, are not walls of separation. They are the walls of self-love, self-respect, and self-care. They are the space in which you can breathe, grow, and evolve into the fullest expression of who you are. They are the language of your soul, speaking clearly and decisively to the world, I am worthy of love, I am worthy of peace, I am worthy of my own presence. So I ask you now, what boundaries do you need to set in your life? What are the areas where you have been overextending yourself, where you have been giving without receiving, where you have been neglecting your own needs? What are the relationships, the situations, the environments that are draining your energy and preventing you from living in your truth? It is time, my friends, to take a stand for yourself. It is time to honor your soul. It is time to create the sacred space in which you can thrive. And as you do, you will find that the world around you begins to shift. You will no longer be a victim of circumstance. You will no longer feel helpless or overwhelmed. You will be the master of your own life, and in doing so, you will become a beacon of light for others to follow. Remember this, boundaries are not barriers, they are bridges. They are the lines that connect you to your highest self, to your truth, and to your deepest potential. They are the language of self-respect, spoken not in words, but in actions, in choices, and in the way you live your life. And when you speak this language with clarity and conviction, you will find that the world responds with the same love, respect, and peace that you have chosen to give yourself. You are worthy of your own love. You are worthy of your own respect. You are worthy of your own peace. And the time to honor yourself, to set your boundaries, is now. May you walk forward with the strength and courage to honor your truth, to honor your soul, and to embrace the beautiful, powerful, and divine being that you are. As you stand at the threshold of this new understanding, let us take a moment to reflect on the profound transformation that is occurring within you. In this very moment, you are shedding the old layers, the beliefs and fears that have held you hostage for far too long. You are unearthing the truth that has always resided within you, waiting patiently for you to remember. You are not here to serve others at the expense of your own soul's peace. So many of us have lived in a state of fear, fearing the consequences of asserting our boundaries, believing that we would be abandoned, criticized, or misunderstood. We've been taught that self-respect is selfishness, that honoring our needs is a sign of weakness. But what if, instead of being weak, this is where your true power lies? What if honoring yourself, taking the time to nurture your spirit, your mind, your body, was the most powerful act of self-love and respect you could ever offer to the world? Imagine for a moment that your soul is a vast, expansive ocean. It is deep, boundless, and brimming with infinite potential. But imagine if that ocean had no shores, no boundaries. It would be constantly swayed by every passing current, every wave that came its way. It would be endlessly susceptible to the storms of life, with no protection, no foundation upon which to stand. But when you create boundaries, when you set the shorelines of your soul, you are allowing your ocean to be still, to find its own rhythm, to flow within the beauty of its own vastness. You give yourself the space to breathe, to reflect, to grow in a way that is aligned with your deepest essence. Boundaries allow you to be your truest self without fear of being swept away by the demands, expectations, and judgments of others. When you stand firm in your truth, when you honor your needs, you are not rejecting the world. You are simply choosing to honor the love and wisdom that resides within you. You are saying to yourself and to the world, I am worthy of my own care. I am worthy of my own peace. I am worthy of my own love. And when you honor yourself in this way, something miraculous happens. You begin to magnetize the same energy into your life. You start to attract people, situations, and opportunities that respect your boundaries, that honor your essence, and that support your growth. Your life begins to unfold in a way that feels natural, effortless, and aligned with your soul's purpose. You begin to experience relationships that are mutually nourishing, where love flows freely and without condition, where respect is a given, not something that needs to be earned. But it all begins with you. It all begins with your decision to stop waiting for the permission of others to live your truth. No one else can give you the validation, the peace, or the love that you seek. It can only come from within. The boundaries you set are not walls to keep the world out. They are doors to invite in only that which serves your highest good. They are the spaces in which you come alive, in which you connect with the deepest parts of yourself that have been waiting for you to remember. As you move forward in life, there will be times when you are faced with challenges, when people will test your boundaries, when life will ask you to stretch beyond your comfort zone. In those moments, remember this: you do not have to say yes to everything. You do not have to sacrifice your peace, your well-being, or your truth for the sake of others. Your boundaries are not rigid. They are flexible, fluid, and ever-evolving. They can bend, shift, and grow with you, but they must always remain rooted in the love and respect that you have for yourself. When you choose to honor your boundaries, you are not closing yourself off from the world. You are opening yourself to a deeper, more authentic connection with the world. You are teaching others how to honor your needs just as you honor theirs. You are creating a space where love, compassion, and understanding can flourish, free from the distractions, judgments, and insecurities that often cloud our relationships. And in this space, you find your true power. You realize that you are not a victim to the circumstances of your life, but the creator of your experience. You are no longer bound by the expectations of others, but free to live fully in alignment with your soul's truth. You become the master of your own destiny, no longer waiting for the world to define you, but instead defining the world around you with the strength of your love, your clarity, and your boundaries. This, my friends, is the path of true freedom. It is the path of self-respect. It is the path of honoring yourself, of giving yourself the space to become the fullest expression of your divine self. It is the path of saying, I am worthy of love, I am worthy of peace, I am worthy of my own presence. And as you walk this path, you will discover that the more you honor yourself, the more you are able to give to others, the more you set boundaries that protect your peace, the more you have to offer the world. Your energy becomes pure, radiant, and untainted by the noise of the world. You become a beacon of light for others to follow, a living example of what it means to live in alignment with your highest self. So, take this moment to breathe deeply, to center yourself, and to reflect on the boundaries you need to set in your life. What are the areas where you have been overextending yourself? What are the relationships or situations that are draining your energy and keeping you from fully embracing your truth? What are the boundaries that will allow you to live with greater peace, greater joy, and greater alignment with your divine purpose? It is time, my friends, to honor yourself. It is time to step into the fullness of your being, to create the space where you can thrive, and to embrace the love, respect, and peace that you so richly deserve. As you do, you will find that the world around you begins to shift. You will find that you no longer need to chase love, peace, or happiness. They will come to you naturally as a result of the boundaries you have set in place. Remember this: you are worthy of your own love. You are worthy of your own respect. You are worthy of your own peace. And when you honor these truths within yourself, the world will reflect them back to you in ways that you never thought possible. May you walk forward with the strength and courage to honor your truth, to honor your soul, and to embrace the beautiful, powerful, and divine being that you are. You are worthy of every good thing that life has to offer, and it begins with the simple yet profound act of setting boundaries that reflect your worth. As we continue this path, you will encounter moments that will test your resolve. Life, in its infinite wisdom, often presents us with opportunities disguised as challenges, asking us to stand firm in our truth. These tests are not obstacles. They are invitations inviting you to rise to the occasion, to hold your boundaries with grace and conviction. There will be moments when the people around you do not understand your boundaries. They may resist, they may challenge, or they may try to convince you that you are being too rigid, too self-centered, or too demanding. In these moments, remember this: your boundaries are not meant to be understood by everyone. They are meant to be felt deeply within the core of your being. The world may not always honor your boundaries, but that does not mean that they are not valid. The essence of a boundary is that it is personal, it is sacred, and it is rooted in your divine right to be at peace with yourself. You see, boundaries are not about controlling others. They are not about manipulation or punishment. They are about creating the space for your soul to breathe, to thrive, and to evolve. They are the invisible lines that protect your inner world, that safeguard your peace, your energy, and your purpose. When you set boundaries, you are not rejecting others. You are simply affirming that you have a right to exist in your truth, free from the distractions, expectations, and manipulations of the world. It is in these moments of resistance, when others push against your boundaries, that you are called to stand firm in your power. This is not an act of defiance, it is an act of self-respect. It is a recognition that your needs, your peace, and your well-being matter. And when you hold firm to your boundaries, you are not just honoring yourself, you are teaching others how to honor you as well. Boundaries also serve another profound purpose. They bring clarity into your relationships. When you set clear boundaries, you are communicating to the world exactly what you need, what you will accept, and what you will not. This clarity opens the door for deeper, more meaningful connections, because you are no longer engaging in relationships that drain your energy, that leave you feeling unseen, unheard, or unappreciated. Boundaries remove the ambiguity and allow both you and the other person to operate in a space of mutual respect, understanding, and trust. It is important to remember, however, that boundaries are not set once and for all. They are living, evolving expressions of your ongoing journey. As you grow, as you evolve, so too will your boundaries. What once felt right may no longer align with your truth, and that is perfectly okay. The act of setting and adjusting boundaries is an ongoing process of tuning into your deepest needs, your soul's desires, and your highest good. It is about being flexible and adaptable while never compromising your inner peace or your worth. Now, you may ask, what happens when you do not set boundaries? What happens when you allow others to overstep? When you do not speak your truth, or when you ignore the gentle whispers of your soul? The answer is simple. You begin to lose yourself. Slowly, gradually, over time, you become disconnected from your true essence. You may begin to feel depleted, overwhelmed, or resentful. You may find that you are constantly giving, but never receiving, that you are pouring from an empty cup. And when this happens, your soul begins to wither and you lose sight of the peace, the joy, and the purpose that are meant to flow freely through you. But this does not have to be your reality. You do not have to live in a state of depletion. You do not have to live in a constant state of compromise or self-sacrifice. You have the power, the divine right, and the strength to reclaim your energy, your peace, and your truth. And it begins with the simple yet profound act of setting boundaries, of saying no when you need to, of walking away from situations that drain you, and of honoring the divine presence within you that seeks only peace, love, and joy. As you begin to honor your boundaries, something magical begins to unfold. You will notice that your energy becomes more vibrant, more focused, and more aligned with your soul's purpose. You will notice that your relationships become more authentic, more nourishing, and more fulfilling. And most importantly, you will notice that you begin to feel more at home with yourself, more at peace with your choices, and more aligned with the divine truth that resides within you. This is the gift of boundaries, the gift of reclaiming your power, your peace, and your divine essence. When you set boundaries, you are not rejecting the world. You are inviting the world to meet you at the level of your truth. You are inviting the world to recognize your worth, to honor your space, and to see you as you truly are a divine, worthy, and powerful being deserving of love, respect, and peace. As we come to the close of this journey, I invite you to take a moment to reflect on the boundaries that you need to set in your life. What areas need more space? What relationships need clearer definitions? Where are you giving away too much of your energy, your time, or your love? What are the changes that you can make right now that will honor your soul and create the space for your highest self to emerge? Remember, setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of self-love. It is the foundation of a life lived in alignment with your truth. It is the key to unlocking your full potential, to stepping into your power, and to living the life that you were always meant to live. May you walk forward with courage, with clarity, and with the unwavering knowledge that you are worthy of every good thing that life has to offer. May your boundaries be strong, and may they be an expression of the love, respect, and peace that you hold within. And may you continue to honor yourself, your soul, and your divine purpose, knowing that you are enough, you are worthy, and you are loved just as you are. You are the creator of your life. You are the master of your boundaries, and you are the keeper of your peace. As we reach the final part of this transformative journey, let us reflect on everything that has been shared and understood. You have discovered the profound power that comes from setting boundaries, boundaries that protect your peace, that honor your worth, and that create the sacred space necessary for your soul to thrive. You have learned that boundaries are not barriers to others, but bridges that connect you more deeply with your highest self, allowing you to walk through life with clarity, strength, and divine purpose. The path to true freedom is not one of endless compromise or self-sacrifice. It is the path of reclaiming your divine right to exist in your fullest expression, free from the influence of external demands that threaten your inner peace. And while the road to setting boundaries can be challenging at times, especially when you fear the reactions of others, it is the most loving and empowering act you can make. It is the act of honoring your own soul, your own needs, and your own truth, knowing that when you do this, you create the space for your life to unfold with ease, grace, and alignment. But now, I ask you, how will you walk forward? The knowledge you have gained in this moment is not meant to remain only as an idea. It is meant to be lived, breathed, and embodied. It is time for you to take the first steps toward honoring yourself in the most sacred way possible by setting boundaries that reflect your worth, your truth, and your divine right to peace. It is time for you to look at the areas of your life where you have been overextending yourself, where you have allowed others to take too much, where you have neglected your own needs for the sake of others. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what are the areas of my life that require more respect? Where do I need to draw the line and say, this is enough? Perhaps it is in your relationships, those that have drained you, taken from you, without offering anything in return. Perhaps it is in your work where you have given tirelessly, but the balance of energy exchange has been off, leaving you feeling undervalued and exhausted. Perhaps it is within yourself, where you have allowed old fears, limiting beliefs, and self-doubt to overrun your thoughts, preventing you from living your fullest life. Whatever it is, know this: you have the power to change it. The moment you say no to something that no longer serves you, you are not only freeing yourself, you are creating space for something greater to enter. You are creating space for peace. You are creating space for love. You are creating space for your soul to expand, to rise, and to be seen in its fullest light. Remember, my friends, that boundaries are not a form of isolation. They are an invitation for others to meet you at the level of your truth. When you set your boundaries, you are teaching the world how to treat you, and you are teaching others how to honor their own needs as well. Boundaries create a ripple effect, encouraging those around you to live with more integrity, more authenticity, and more respect for themselves and others. So, as you move forward, embrace the power of saying no when necessary. Embrace the power of choosing your peace over pleasing others. Embrace the power of stepping into your worth, knowing that you are enough, that you are deserving, and that you are worthy of your own love, care, and attention. This is your time, the time to reclaim your soul, the time to honor your truth, the time to live with boundaries that allow your spirit to soar, unfettered by the expectations and demands of the world. You are not here to give endlessly without receiving. You are not here to be the martyr, to lose yourself in the service of others. You are here to live fully, to live joyously, and to live in alignment with the divine truth that resides within you. And so I ask you now, will you honor your boundaries? Will you stand tall in your worth and create the space necessary for your soul to thrive? Will you choose peace, respect, and love, both for yourself and for those you encounter on your journey? I know you will. You have everything you need to walk this path, and as you do, you will become the living example of what it means to live in self-respect, self-love, and self-honor. You will become a beacon of light for others to follow, a reminder that boundaries are not walls to shut the world out, but doors to allow the world in only at the level of your highest truth. And in this space, you will discover the boundless freedom that comes with living in alignment with your divine essence. You will realize that you are not just surviving, you are thriving. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the master of your own life. You are no longer afraid of setting boundaries because you understand that they are the language of self-respect, the language of self-love, and the language of freedom. So, as we come to the end of this journey, I leave you with this final thought. Your life is your own. It is a sacred, divine expression of who you are, and it is yours to shape, to nurture, and to protect. May you walk forward with the strength, the clarity, and the unwavering confidence that comes from knowing your worth, from setting boundaries, and from honoring your truth. You are worthy, you are enough, and you are loved just as you are. This is your time to rise. This is your time to shine. This is your time to live the life you were always meant to live. And so it is.